Well, what I graduate, 96, right around there. So I went to Seward Montessori school, so it was public, and then it was, the transition over to private school was a little different because, you're used to dressing a certain way and, trying to be fly. I'm from Chicago, so, I'm always trying to, throw on what I need to throw on and, show out or whatever. But going to De La Salle, the transition was just, it was different because I was nervous, because it was totally 180 from where I came from. So I didn't know how I was supposed to move and shake, and so I'm just kind of, you got to wear uniforms, and then, so I'm like, okay, uniforms, whatever, this is stupid. I'll roll with it, whatever. But it was a lot of, I wouldn't say rich folks, but more people more wealthy than where I came from, right? So it was nervous around that. So I'm always kind of conscious of how I looked, how I acted, because growing up, you always want to try to project the right image because there's always this stereotype already. So that was one of the biggest things for me, is just trying to show that and show and prove going in that I was smart, because all of a sudden they got this stereotype. Oh, okay, well, he going to hoop at De La Salle. That's probably why he here. He probably not that smart. He just got in. And so immediately mine was, I got to hit these books, skip all this other stuff that they doing so I can show and prove. So that was kind of the transition for me.
And did you live in North Minneapolis, or where did you live when you
I originally lived in South Minneapolis. I didn't actually move to North Minneapolis until I bought my duplex right out of high school and right on 16th and Emerson, and grew up over there. So
were there a lot of cats from North that went to USL with
yeah, it was. I mean, you probably know a couple of these cats, EB, Edwin. Yeah, it was a ton of people that went there because they came for basketball as well. And I actually almost ended up at North High, but I got accepted over at D, and I was like, bet I'm gonna do this.
you? Do you think that was, in hindsight, beneficial?
Absolutely.
As a-
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I talk about this all the time, is that when you come from a certain situation, you kind of focus in and kind of narrow-minded on that particular lane. And coming from a public school system to go to private, it was a whole new world to me. So I felt like, it's like an explorer almost, because I was like, oh, they do this different, this is different. Even coming from Chicago to Minnesota was exploratory to me. It's like, oh, they do this, like we don't do this here. This is lame. But everybody was calling it lame, and for me, it was lame because that's where I came from, but I wanted to understand. So it was, dissecting, asking questions, and participating in certain things that I wouldn't normally do because that ain't cool. That ain't what we do. That's, acting white or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that was the biggest thing for me, and it helped me a lot, just taking that 180. And if I would have went to North, it would have probably been the same kind of mindset for me in particular, because I came from this, and just staying on that route, I would have, who knows where I would have been. I think I still would have been straight, but it would have been totally different for me. But going this way, it just expands your mind. Anytime, even if you leave the country, because you got this whole mindset about, okay, this is how things are because this is what I see on TV, and all of a sudden you go over to Korea or to Brazil, and you're like, I've been lied to. And then you really want to engage and try to figure things out and say, okay, I need to learn a little more. And so that's what going to De La Salle did for me.
What advice would you give a young teacher, say, at North High, a young white male teacher, about relating to or inspiring young people of color?
Engage them where they're at. I think a lot of times the school systems, in particular, some of these white male teachers, they had, hey, this is what I did to get to where I'm at, so you need to do the same thing. Not understanding their background is different, their proclivities are different, they enjoy different things. So if they're into basketball and they're the video games, for example, my nephew, he's in the video games. I like video. I'm away from it, but oh, okay. What video game are you playing? Okay, what do you like? What are you doing? Oh, you know that's like math in that. You're like a scientist because this is based on this, and now all of a sudden, it piques the interest. Like, what you mean? I'm a scientist. Now all of a sudden it's like, let me well here, and then give them something. Hey, take this book or take this and see what I'm talking about. And that's what happened for me at De La Salle. I had right around that time I was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. So I was becoming more militant, and so I'm attacking my teacher every time. That ain't right. That's wrong, or this and that, and oh, that's wrong. You saying all that? That ain't right. And then he looked at me, white teacher, and he said, okay, all right, is my history teacher. He always going at me. So the next day he comes in and he gives me a book called Lies My Teacher Told Me. And to get that type of book from a teacher, you're like, lies my teacher told me. You're a teacher. So what is this all? Now we can have that conversation. We talked about, okay, well, certain things in like Christopher Columbus and, all the racism and all that. And so we can have that dialogue because he knew I was on that lane. So he engaged me where I was at. And so as an educator, that's what you want to do. I mean, that's what education means, to draw out of, right? So you want to draw that inspiration out of them. But if you go into them and say, oh, well, you into Malcolm X, no, you need to read about Thomas Jefferson, or you need to read about, you're like, it doesn't work.
Let me ask you this question. This is a yes or no. If you had options, would you put your child in the public school system?
Yes. Now, again, it goes back to where if I have my child going through private school, say they went through private school, grammar school, all their lives, absolutely I would take them to a public school because, again, they've been going through this private school the whole time, so they got this idea of how the world works. No, I'm gonna throw you in. I'm gonna throw you here. Same thing with my sister. She went to De La Salle as well because she came from public school, put in De La Salle. Now I'm flipping her. She's going to Howard University. So now again, it'll expand her mind because now she saw what De La Salle did, and she struggles with all the dark-skinned girl, light-skinned, all this, and just dealing with the whole whiteness of De La Salle and some of that. Now she can go to Howard and see in DC and see the prominence of us black people.
And it's balanced.
Exactly. So absolutely, I would have my kid go there. Yeah.
Your name is and what you do?
Ron Richard. I'm a commercial banker, lender for small businesses. So, yeah. Thanks.